Hi guys, it's Bailey from Making It the Midwest, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Sigma Resort palette. It's this lovely limited edition tropical palette from Sigma, launched a week and a day ago, I guess, as I film this. So if you want to see what's inside, a detailed review, maybe some swatches here or there, please continue watching. Alright, so to start off, this palette retails for $42. Inside, you open it up and you get a nice sized mirror here. I don't want to blind you. Let's flip that back. You get eight eyeshadows that are nice sized. They range anywhere from this neutral, you get like a solid neutral for here, and then 4 awesomely tropical colored shadows. You get a powder blush that's a nice, it borders between a blush slash bronzer because it's very earth tone, kind of terracotta brown. You get a liquid highlight in the shade Luminous, which is a champagne highlighter, and then you get a dual-ended eye pencil here. It's a wood and it's not automatic, so you have to manually sharpen them in the shades Daydream, which is this aqua kind of bright blue, and Earth Goddess, which is a basic brown. So I want to get more into detail about the quality of each of these shadows, well, each of the products total in this palette, so let's get to that. So first I'm going to start with the shadows, and I've divided it up into the neutrals here on the right and the colorful shadows on the left. Starting with the neutrals, you get Muse, which is a medium to dark satin gray shade. You have Fawn, which is a metallic medium to light to medium taupe. Luna, which is this beautiful yellow champagne shade with like a yellow duochrome, and then Topaz, which is kind of a red leaning medium brown is how I describe it. It's also matte, which is makes it a really great crease color. Overall, this cluster of shades is not my favorite aspect of this palette. I hate to start this review off with that because you'll find out later on that I really love a lot of other things about this palette, but to have such staple, beautiful neutral shades in this palette, a lot of them didn't perform well. For instance, Muse is a little chalky, it's not as opaque as I would like it to be, although you can build it up. Fawn, despite having this beautiful metallic-y appearance in the pan, and then when you swatch it here, it just kind of shears out into a chunkier glitter thing, and it's not at all, it looks like it's going to be similar to something you'd find in an Urban Decay palette with the buttery metallic kind of texture, and that's not the way it was at all, which was really disappointing. Luna is a beautiful shade. I have nothing bad to say about that aside from the fact that it's a little powdery, but I've stated before that I got nothing against powdery shades, and it's just a beautiful duochrome that is lovely on its own. It really serves to brighten up your whole eye, your inner corner, whatever, but I think it's also going to look really nice over a dark shade. It's going to be one of those eyeshadows that kind of transforms when you put it over a dark color. And then Topaz, like I said before, is a great matte crease color. The pigmentation with that one isn't as great as it could be, but it's not as bad as, say, Muse or Fawn. So that was kind of, these 4 first shades were kind of a mixed bag for me because they are such staple colors and they kind of bring this whole palette back into more of a wearable zone. That it was kind of a letdown for me, but that shouldn't, I mean, I guess I should move on to the more positive aspects because they definitely are some. So moving on to the colorful shades, despite being a little disappointed with some of the neutral shadows, I was blown away by the colorful shades, which is awesome because this is one of those palettes that I feel like you buy for the colorful shades. The neutral shades make it more versatile, but I mean, where are you going to find one place where you can keep all of these, you know, bright green, turquoise, purple, peach? But let's actually talk about what these shades are. So first off, you get Papaya, which is this beautiful peach with, it's laced with gold. Maybe it's a duochrome, I guess. When you turn your hand or your eye, it kind of looks completely gold one way and then it looks completely peach the other. So I guess that kind of qualifies as a duochrome, right? Then you have Moonbeam, which is this beautiful purple, blue purple, I would say. It's kind of shimmery but not chunky shimmer. You have Neela, which is an aqua with these gold shimmers, and it's just beautiful, super opaque, super pigmented. And then Midori, which is, you know, kind of like the liquor, right? It's a liquor, Midori, I think? I don't know. But it's just this beautiful like forest or grassy, tropical rainforest green, I feel like. That's not as shimmery, it's not nearly as like outright glittery as Neela, but it's just kind of satiny shimmery. Also very opaque and pigmented. So for the few ways that the neutral shades kind of let me down in this palette, the colorful shades made up for it tenfold. They just blew me out of the water with their pigmentation, their opacity, their lasting power. I actually have two looks that I have created, both of which there will be pictorials for on the blog. I'm sure I'll flash them here so you can see, but one was created using entirely neutral shades, and I have to say I didn't hate the way it turned out. It was just kind of hard to get the kind of pigmentation you see built up in those photos. And then the colorful look that I created, I loved it. it's what made me fall in love with the colorful shades in this palette. So let's move on to the blush. It's a very basic, like I said, kind of terracotta, straddles the line between blush and bronzer. In fact, it's the only thing I have on today. I didn't contour, I didn't blush, I just, you know, used a big kind of all over face brush like this and swiped it on my cheekbones, and I feel like it creates, it's one of those colors that on those days when you want to fudge, you don't have enough time to do both blush and contour. It's one of those shades, at least for the fair skin girls out there, that you can just swipe it on the back of your cheekbones and it kind of cheats. It looks like blush and bronzer. So that's a good aspect to have, makes the palette very versatile if this were to be the only thing you ever took when you traveled. Then you have this liquid highlight, which is a gorgeous champagne shade. It's not huge. And it's called Luminous, and it has a little brush applicator, which is nice. You can use it on your eyes. I've used it on my brow bone in the colorful look. I've also have it on today as a highlight on the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and on the tops of my cheekbones. It's not, it looks like it would be very, very shimmery in the packaging if you ask me, but once it's on and you kind of pat it out and blend it away, it's very natural looking. It really is more of a luminescence than a full-on shimmery bright highlight, which is very nice for those of you who like a subtle highlight. Although I don't doubt that it could be built. I'm sure, I haven't personally done that, but I think you could. And then moving on to the eyeliners in this palette. Like I said before, you get a bright blue, which is Daydream, and you get Earth Goddess, which is a basic brown. Also, as I mentioned, they are not automatic pencils. You do have to sharpen them. And typically that is a big deterrent for me. When I first opened this up, I was like, might as well throw this sucker away because I'm so used to getting these sort of value palettes where they include just some rinky-dink eyeliner that's super hard, not creamy, not pigmented, falls off your wand. I'm so used to it underperforming. And that is not the case at all with these pencils. I was unbelievably impressed, especially with the blue Daydream. It's so opaque and it's matte, unlike Urban Decay shadows that, you know, they have the fun, funky colors. They're shimmery, and I noticed that sometimes the brighter colors don't always stay on the waterline, or they don't always stay opaque on the waterline, but this bright blue is like nothing I've ever tried before. And this is coming from someone who has quite a few eyeliners that she has tried, a lot in bright colors. I mean, like, I'm not scared of bright colors, people, and this blue was very impressive, especially for not being an automatic pencil. You know, you have to sharpen it, it's wooden, etc. That being said, there is another pencil on here. It's the Brown Earth Goddess, and it's a very nice, basic pencil. It's not cruddy. It is very creamy. I do notice that it leans a little reddy. I have it, I'm wearing it in the neutral look that I flashed on the screen earlier. By the way, you can see full non-moving pictures on my blog. If you're curious, you want to see the swatches and pictures and everything, you can see those in better detail on the blog, links in the down bar. But I did notice that had a kind of a slight red undertone. It's not quite as opaque as the blue. It's almost there, and both of these have decent lasting power. So again, I think this is a great addition to the palette as well because you do have both a basic shade and a fun shade. I just, shocked. I was so surprised at how much I like these. I'm not gonna lie. I was so ready to just chuck these out the window when I first saw it was a wooden pencil, but very, very impressed. So now let's talk overall thoughts on the palette. Besides the two fumbles here, the only one of which I thought was a really kind of not good thing was the Fawn, this metallic shade. Muse wasn't so bad. I really like this palette. I think it's a great collection of products and shades. I'm especially impressed with the colorful shadows and the colorful liner. Everything else is just kind of icing on the cake. And I feel like because this palette is very dominated by the colorful shades anyway, that's probably what you're looking to get out of it because you already have, or you just don't care about these neutral shades here. Like, I mean, you can see both Naked palettes are back there. I'm sure I could find close enough. Shades that are close enough in here. These are really the harder shades to find in my book, especially clumped together in a palette like that. And considering a lot of us might not wear them after the spring and summer, which is they're very on trend, and others of us might, and in that case it would be a good value for you. But if you're really looking to get, you know, that one bright blue, that one bright green, and you don't want to spend, and you want them to be good quality, you don't want to spend a ton of money on them because it is so kind of fatty, I think this is a good way to do it. One thing I do want to point out though, as I was kind of going through my stash to see if there was any way to kind of put this together on your own, one thing I noticed was that the peach, this Muse, that kind of color combination is very similar to this L'Oreal quad in Shopping Spree. It's part of their new eyeshadow quads, and obviously it doesn't have all of the This palette doesn't have all the shades, but they are very similar in that you get this kind of duochrome peach with the gold, you get kind of a smoky gray. It just seemed very similar, so you're not by any means duping it completely, but depending on which of the shades you were most interested in from this palette, if that at all helped in talking you out of this and finding a cheaper alternative, I thought I would show you that anyway. Overall, I would recommend this. Obviously, you have to be very into bright colors, especially since, after what I just said, they kind of make this palette. This is why I would buy this palette, is for the bright color. So if you're looking to experiment, if you are looking to add to your color collection, if you just want to have a little bit of fun for the spring and summer when bright colors are going to be in, I would recommend this palette because I think it is a great value for the money. That being said, if you're not into bright colors, hopefully you will have turned this video off now because it's probably not for you. But yeah, so that's kind of it. Those are my thoughts on this palette. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing all of that. Don't forget to go check out the blog if you want to see reviews, or the whole review, the swatches. I'll also have 2 additional posts, pictorials showing you how to, like step by step, how to get both the neutral and the colorful look. And the other thing I would love to hear from you guys is if you want to see a tutorial of me using this. I thought about making this a review and tutorial, but I didn't want to make it too long since there are a lot of parts to this palette. So let me know in the comment section if you guys would like to see a tutorial using this, and I would be happy to oblige. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!